Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy? Sports and Fitness Rants. I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Got another great video for you guys today. As usual, you guys know the deal on this channel. It's all about setting the record straight, stopping the lies, stopping the narratives, stopping them from rewriting history. And in this video, man, I want to shout out the humility of Walt Frazier, man. Shout out to Walt Frazier, man. One of the NBA greats, man. The New York Knicks legend. And I heard him talking on I think he was on a podcast or some show that he was on. And he was talking about Willis Reed, man, and the inspiration that Willis Reed gave him and the other New York Knicks during the 1970 NBA Finals. And that inspired his Game 7 performance during those finals. And I wanted to talk about it real briefly in this video, man, because I found it, like I said, it was really just another way that Walt Frazier shows the classiness that he has. And like I said, showing you humility, man, and giving Willis Reed, man, his props, man, and saying that he inspired his Game 7 performance. And we're going to talk about in this video, guys. And I want to thank you guys, everyone across the world, everyone across the states, man, has been supporting my channel. Guys, once again, I am truly humbled by all the support. It means a lot, for real, guys. You guys know the deal, man. We must continue to stand up. And I want to thank you guys, like I said, for rolling with me, supporting my channel, everybody in the membership. Shout out to all you guys for the continued support, man. It's truly humbling, guys. Thank you. And you guys know what to do. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember, these videos are for educational purposes. And let's roll. So, yes, guys, like I said, man, I wanted to shout to my man, Walt Frazier. Walt Frazier, man, is probably the biggest celebrity that I've ever met. Like, I've actually taken a picture with Walt Frazier back when I was like, I think I was like 16 years old, 17 years old, I want to say maybe. I met him at a basketball clinic. So shout out to Walt Frazier, man. The dude was so nice. Like I said, just a very humble a person, man. You know what I'm saying? The swag of a Walt Frazier, man. But I was listening to a clip I saw of him, and he was talking, and you know, I guess he was being interviewed or whatever, and they were asking him, or they were talking about the 1970 NBA Finals and his performance in that Game 7, right? And they were, you know, giving Walt Frazier all this, you know, all these props or whatever, rightfully so, because Walt Frazier put up one of the great NBA Finals performances in the history of the game, especially as it relates to just Game 7 performances in an NBA Finals against the LA Lakers with Wilt Chamberlain and Jerry West and Elgin Baylor. And my man, Walt Frazier went out there, and I think he dropped like 37 points and like 19 assists or something like that. I mean, like 7 rebounds. Like, he went out there and really, like I said, you know, spearheaded the New York Knicks attack during that Game 7 and helped, like I said, help lead the Knicks to that Game 7 victory in an NBA championship in 1970. But he said, and he gave Willis Reed, you know, the credit for, you know, for the inspiration, you know, not only for him, but for the other players on the New York Knicks. Now, I've talked about this series before in the past, and I've debated people about, you know, NBA Finals MVPs. And you guys remember they started handing out the NBA Finals MVP during the 1969 NBA Finals, right? And Jerry West won the first one in a losing effort to the Boston Celtics. But just the very next season, Jerry West and the Lakers won another Game 7 against the New York Knicks, who are a very formidable team that a lot of people don't really mention, you know, from those early 70s, man. The New York Knicks, one of the greatest teams that never gets talked about, with players like Willis Reed and Walt Frazier, Bill Bradley, Dave DeBusschere, on that 1970 New York Knicks squad. And it was Walt Frazier that was giving Willis Reed his props, man. Like I said, and just showing of so much humility and being so humble in that moment when, you know, they were saying, you know, how great Walt Frazier's performance was, and giving Walt Frazier all these props for the performance. And they were talking about how they remembered that performance and you know, all these things that he was doing on the court. And Walt Frazier said, I don't have that performance without Willis Reed walking out of the tunnel. Now, you guys have probably remember of seeing the image of Willis Reed walking out of the tunnel, right, with the warm-up jacket on in Madison Square Garden. That's in the 1970 NBA Finals, guys, against the LA Lakers, Wilt Chamberlain, like I said, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor. That's that Game 7. So we must go back and think about this now. Why would Walt Frazier say and give Willis Reed so much credit for inspiring his performance? Was Walt Frazier, is he just, you know, trying to give the late, great Willis Reed some credit Is he being disingenuous? No, Walt Frazier has always been a classy individual, has always carried himself with the integrity, with the honor. And Walt Frazier, once again, showing the humility that a lot of other great players don't seem to have these days. They don't have that humility, right? They don't have the ability to come out and be honest with themselves. And like I said, and for Walt Frazier to say, listen, it was Willis Reed that inspired my performance. Without him coming out of that tunnel, I do not have that performance. Now, let's think about this. During that NBA, let's think about the season just off the top. Willis Reed, during that season, a lot of people don't know, Willis Reed not only was the MVP of the season, he was the season MVP in 1970, Willis Reed, guys. He was also the All-Star Game MVP in 1970. So if we think about these things, this is Willis Reed, guys, one of the all-time great big men from the mid 60s into the early 70s, guys. One of the great big men that doesn't really get mentioned oftentimes, up there with the Will Chamberlains and the Bill Russells, the Nate Thurmans. Sometimes, they forget about a Willis Reed. He doesn't get mentioned with the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars or the Bill Waltons. But you had a Willis Reed in the NBA, like I said. So he was the regular season MVP. He was the All-Star Game MVP. And going into that NBA Finals, the New York Knicks and the Los Angeles Lakers were tied 2 games apiece, guys. And in Game 5, Willis Reed, I believe he tore his thigh muscle. If I remember correctly, he tore his thigh muscle in that Game 5 and missed basically the entire game. I believe he only played about 8 minutes or 10 minutes in the game, whatever the case may be. And the New York Knicks were able to hold on in Madison Square Garden and win that game. That Game 5. I believe it might have been in Madison. I believe it was in Madison Square Garden. It may not have been in Madison Square Garden. I can't remember. But they were able to win that Game 5 against the Lakers and have a 3-2 edge. But Willis Reed did not play in Game 6. Willis Reed would miss Game 6, guys. And this is why it's very important that Game 7, Willis Reed coming out of the tunnel. Because in Game 6, Will Chamberlain, I believe, had like 45 points and like 27 rebounds in that game. And he dominated without Willis Reed there. And the Los Angeles Lakers were able to tie the series at 3 games apiece. And they would have a Game 7 in New York, right, at Madison Square Garden. And if we think about that series leading up into that injury by Willis Reed, it was Willis Reed in Game 1 who outscored everyone, including a Jerry West, including an Elgin Baylor and a Will Chamberlain, where I believe 37 points and like 13 rebounds or 17 rebounds, whatever it was, in that Game 1, lead the Knicks to a Game 1 performance. It was Willis Reed that was outscoring guys like Jerry West and Will Chamberlain, the Elgin Baylors, during those first 4 games of the series. So, in fact, Willis Reed missing that Game 6, guys, was huge. Will Chamberlain was able to dominate that game without Willis Reed there to give him a hard time, to make him earn it and work for it. So, the New York Knicks obviously missed Willis Reed in that Game 6, and all the momentum had shifted to the Los Angeles Lakers, and Will Chamberlain was dominating. And now this is here, sets up a Game 7 where Willis Reed comes out of the tunnel, where people didn't know if he was going to be able to go. But it was Willis Reed digging down deep, right, showing the heart of a champion, right, being a true competitor. This is what I'm talking about with these guys back in the day, man. They gave the effort, man. They showed up. It was Willis Reed, or I remember hearing him say one time, they were asking him in an interview, and he said, I didn't want to retire, right, and never really know, that if I could have won or not, or gave it my all, like he said that he didn't want to retire and live the rest of his life never really knowing if he could have gave it his all, if he could have went. And he went out there and he gave it a go. And I believe he played like 27 minutes or 25 minutes in that Game 7, but it wasn't about the minutes he played. It wasn't necessarily about the points that he scored, because I believe he only scored like 4 points in the game. That was not the impact that Walt Frazier was talking about. What Walt Frazier is talking about when he said, without Willis Reed inspiration, I do not have that Game 7 performance, is what he's talking about is Willis Reed coming out of that tunnel. What that meant, what that does for your team, it galvanizes. I use that word a lot on this channel, guys. What Michael Jordan would do sometimes, these great players do. This is Willis Reed, guys. He's one of the all-time greats, and he's one of the great captains, one of the great leaders in NBA's history. This is why he was called the captain. So Willis Reed galvanized his teammates through that great leadership, right? Going out there, right? And showing the heart of a champion, right? Pushing and pulling through this, the pain, sacrificing for the team to go out there and like I said, lead them through the inspiration. And that's what Walt Frazier was talking about when he says it was Willis Reed coming out of that tunnel. If it's not for Willis Reed coming out of that tunnel, I don't have that Game 7 performance, man. And it was Willis Reed who was named the Finals MVP of the 1970 NBA Finals. And in fact, if you look at the games, like I said, the performances leading up into that injury in Game 5, the fact that the New York Knicks looked like they were going to lose after that Game 6 performance by Wilt Chamberlain coming out with 45 points and, like I said, like 27 rebounds or whatever he had without Willis Reed there. The Willis Reed that was dominating, outscoring guys like Jerry West and Elgin Baylor during the first 3-4 games, right? It was Willis Reed coming out of that tunnel to inspire the New York Knicks crowd, the people there, right? They were in a frenzy. You guys have seen the clip. Even if you're not a New York Knicks fan, even if you're not a Willis Reed fan, maybe you don't even know who Willis Reed is, but you see a clip of someone doing that in that moment, what it meant with a torn thigh muscle, with an injury. Once again, these guys didn't get paid all this crazy amounts of money, right? You didn't have all these advancements of medicine and all this stuff. This is a significant injury. 1970, the man coming out of the tunnel after you missed a Game 6. Your team is on the ropes, right? They need a little bit of inspiration, some motivation. They need it. And Walt Frazier is talking about that, inspiring his performance. And shout out to Walt Frazier for once again going out there and putting on one of the greatest performances, like I said, not only just in the NBA Finals, but in a Game 7. One of the all-time great performances. You think about someone like James Worthy and his Game 7 performance that he put up during the 1988 NBA Finals. You think about someone like I said, Walt Clyde Frazier and his performance going out there, dropping 30 plus, like I said, like 19 assists, 7 rebounds, whatever it was, and leading the New York Knicks. Guys like Bill Bradley, Dave DeBusschere, like I said, picking up, getting inspired from the captain, Willis Reed. And I just found it very refreshing to listen to someone, a classy individual with the swag of a Walt Clyde Frazier, man. Like I said, a true legend out there amongst the people, especially in New York City, man. Walt Clyde Frazier got the key to the city, man. He can go anywhere. He could do anything. And he earned it through the way that he carried himself on the basketball court and the way he continues to carry himself. Like I said, I had the pleasure of meeting Walt Clyde Frazier once in person. He signed an autograph for me. Like I said, I took a picture with him at a basketball clinic he was there to speak at. Like I said, it was an honor to meet him. And like I said, he was the nicest person that you could meet. Like I said, just a true, humble human being. And that's how he came across when he was speaking about the late, great Willis Reed and what him coming out of the tunnel meant, not only to him, but like I said, to the other New York Knicks players and to the city of New York City. The fans out there in Madison Square. Listen, the New York Knicks haven't won a championship since the New York Knicks of the 70s, 1970, 1973. That was the last time the New York Knicks have won a championship. They were in the NBA Finals in 1994. They were there in 1999, right? But they have not been or won a championship since the 70s, guys. That's how much those New York Knicks mean to the New York City people, the New York Knicks fans out there, man. Someone like the captain, Willis Reed. Like I said, Walt Clyde Frazier, and the way that he went out there on both sides of the ball. One of the great two-way players in the history of the game, Walt Clyde Frazier. One of the greatest defensive point guards in the history of the game. And putting on one of the greatest performances in NBA Finals history. And the man comes out and speaks about Willis Reed. He doesn't come out there and pump his chest out. He doesn't come out there and talk about how great he was and what he did. Oh, yeah, I'm Walt Clyde Frazier, man. You guys know me, man. This is what I do. I come out there, hey, man, Willis Reed went down. I was like, I got this, man. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to show you guys why I should be the MVP. He ain't crying about why he didn't get no Finals MVP. He said, I don't have my performance without Willis Reed. It was Willis Reed that inspired me to have that performance. It was Willis Reed who was the MVP of the 1970 season, the MVP of the All-Star game, that was the captain of the New York Knicks. Walt Clyde Frazier was one of the leaders of the Knicks, no doubt about it. But it was Willis Reed. He was the captain of the New York Knicks, man. Played the New York Knicks his entire career. Willis Reed. And like I said, you can say the injuries probably cut his career a little bit shorter than it really should have been. Willis Reed. So shout out to the late, great Willis Reed. Like I said, shout out to all the New York Knicks fans out there. And once again, man, shout out to Walt Frazier, man. The humility that he showed in that interview talking about Willis Reed and the inspiration that he got from Willis Reed coming out of that tunnel and what it meant to him and why he was able to have that performance. Not making it about himself and saying, I did this, I did that. Willis Reed wasn't there. I should have won this. Or I deserve to get, notoriety for that or some publicity for this. And letting people know the truth about what that really means, what a true leader does, what inspiration does for people. This is what I talk about on this channel, guys. And you can inspire people around you. When I talk on my channel about fitness and health, and we talk about integrity, honor, class, respect, these kinds of things, Willis Reed earned the respect of Walt Frazier with the way that he carried himself. He earned the respect of the New York Knicks fans, his contemporaries. This is why someone like Walt Frazier will give him his props and his just dues for saying he inspired me. These are the things you can do. Inspiration matters. So true leaders do, man. You guys know what to do on this channel, man. Once again, man, I'll catch you guys on the next one.